Hello, David Ansari here of the Centre for Risk Analysis. We are a think tank based in Johannesburg with a global perspective, and we help you to understand the risks in the present environment, to prepare for an uncertain future, and to prosper tomorrow. Today, we're looking at unemployment in South Africa, which is a persistent and growing problem. In this clip from a recent client webinar, my colleague Bheki Mahlobo explains why unemployment is so high and some of the underlying causes of this phenomenon.
In our first section, we'll start off by looking at unemployment trends in South Africa and what they mean for the country as well as for businesses in general. And in our first slide, we're looking at South Africa's population by employment status. And what will immediately strike your eye is you'll see a great proportion of individuals in South Africa are not working. These are a significant amount of these individuals are made up of individuals that are unavailable to take on work. These are your students in educational institutions such as your universities as well as your high school, or some of them are just too young to take on a job. Another thing you'll notice on the pie chart here is that you see a small proportion of South Africans who are working. Currently stands at 27.5%. And what we want to see, essentially, we want to see the red section of the pie chart slightly getting bigger and bigger each and every year, mainly because the individuals in South Africa that are not working heavily rely or depend on the ones that are currently working. And unfortunately, in South Africa, over the past 10 to 12 years, this red section of the pie chart has slightly been getting smaller and smaller each and every year. So that raises the question, what essentially has been happening in South Africa over the past 10 to 12 years? Well, unfortunately, we've had slow to stagnant economic growth, which has led to almost 70% increase in the number of people that are unemployed in South Africa. What you see here in your graph is that we see that the number of people in 2008 that were unemployed were sitting around 6.5 million. That has increased to now 10.7 million South Africans that are unemployed. That's almost a 70% increase in the number of people unemployed. Now, if South Africa wants to compete with other emerging markets, it needs to achieve an unemployment rate of 10% or even lower. That would require it to achieve 1 million jobs per year. And unfortunately, in this decade, we've only been achieving 162,000 jobs each and every year. When we dig deeper into those 10.7 million South Africans that are currently unemployed, what we see here is that the negative effects of the unemployment crisis in South Africa is to a large extent being felt by the young population in South Africa. This is within the age group of 25 to 34 years old. Roughly 40% of that 10.7 figure is made up of these individuals in this age category, which you can see here as 4.1 million South Africans. And the second greatest is within the age group of 15 to 24 years old. Another worrying trend that we're seeing is essentially we're seeing a doubling in the number of people that are unemployed in older age categories, such that you can see from the ages of 35 going towards the ages of 64. When we look at another classification, and that is the NEETs, these are people not in employment, education, or training. In this particular slide, we're looking at the age group of 15 to 34 years old. And what we notice here is that out of 8 million, there are roughly 8 million South Africans that fall under this category. And out of that 8 million, a large proportion of those are made up of females of 45.4% compared to 38.1% in males. Now, what does this mean essentially in a country where you have high levels of unemployment? Well, that's a question I'll answer later on in this briefing.
Thanks for watching. If you found this video valuable, please do give it a like and remember to subscribe to the channel. And if you would like to become a client of the Centre for Risk Analysis on a 30-day free trial at no risk to you, you can follow the link in the description below.